It's time for some real talk. So why is it that wedding DJ prices just seems to be this, this huge enigma, this, just very contentious topic? There's a few real factors to consider here, and one of those happens to be this is a self-inflicted industry issue right from Jump Street. You're going to have a lot of DJs who, one, can undervalue their services quite a bit. They may be in markets that they see a lot of, cheap DJs, and they see that and they bow to the pressure of, there's just a lot of DJs in this area at this price, so I have to compete. And part of that problem is this huge race to the bottom. It's this just competitive nature of, wanting to attract business and not quite valuing everything that they offer as a service. And then there's the flip side. There's actually DJs that are really only worth those particular values that they're setting for themselves, be it 200, 400, 500, whatever that number is. They may be new to the industry. They may be just a push button play DJ, and there's nothing specifically wrong with that, depending on the type of DJ that you want. And there are some DJs who value their services kind of right on the money. They take the time to run their business as a business, their labor costs, travel costs, they roll that all into one, and they come up with those particular prices. And then you get clients who sees this wide range of pricing. They see this $150 DJ, this $500 DJ, $1,000. 2,000, 5,000, and for some they get sticker shock. They're not sure where exactly the pricing should be, and part of that's fueled by these articles that are out there by some reputable sources like morning news programs to wedding blogs that will say, hey, iPod DJ is X amount of dollars. Look for the lower price DJ. So from the client perspective, since they're generally new into this process, not everybody gets remarried and all that, so this is their first time around, they're not necessarily sure, what to do, what to price, how is all this, line up into their budget and to have a successful night. Well, there's a few parameters to kind of look at, and let's kind of dive into those. Now, first off is searching for the best deal. And I put best deal in quotes because, it's a little bit of a misnomer, You can do things like, let's say you're shopping for a television, and just so happens my television's broken right now. So I've been researching, what my the prices are, for qualities and features that I'm particularly looking for. I'm going to now start searching for that particular model, at different places, and see what the best price is. Now, don't get me wrong, this is complete human nature. You don't want to waste money, but from a wedding DJ perspective, this is not a commodity. This really is an experience. It's not just the experience that the DJ brings of the night. It's the experience of the totality of it all. You want to make sure that that DJ knows what they're doing, that they just have your best interests in mind. Now, in the end, I always tell my prospective leads, this really comes down to just a couple things: personality, trust, and value. Number one, are you clicking with that person? Are you just vibing on those right notes and all that? Do you trust them to execute everything that you have envisioned? This really comes down to instilling all your ideas into a select few vendors to really execute the most important day of your life. And then value, and I'm not just talking the value of cost. I'm talking the value that that DJ brings, or any vendor for that matter, to bear. Another topic I want to cover is this misconception of hours. And for some clients, they think, oh, I just need the DJ 4, 5, 6 hours, whatever that number is. So when they get these quotes, they automatically see, this DJ's X amount of dollars, and wow, they're charging hundreds of dollars an hour for their services. Now, don't get me wrong, those DJs, even if they were just charging by the hour, are potentially worth that value. But more importantly, the wedding DJ, or I should say a good quality wedding DJ, they spend a lot of time during this process. For me in particular, I'm spending 20 to 25 hours per couple for every wedding. I have some couples that only need, one major meeting and, a few email exchanges. I have some that need many and many. And, to me, that doesn't matter, because in the end, what I'm looking to, achieve is to make sure that that couple really has no concerns, leading up to their wedding day. So I always tell them, put everything aside. We've done all this planning and all that. Now it's time to leave it for the professionals. Let us handle all the headaches. It's your job to enjoy the day. Now, a topic that's a little bit more controversial is this discussion of equipment and investment. And take, let's say you're going to get this fine baguette from a bread store, and when you buy it, do you really sit down and think what's the warehouse costs? What are the price of flour? What is their employees? What overhead that they have to worry about? All the insurance. All these factors typically go into that price of bread, and that's no different than what price of a wedding DJ or any professional for that matter. Now, for some, be it clients or even DJs, they're going to be like, don't talk about equipment, that's irrelevant. And to an extent, that is true. I don't ultimately base all my pricing off of what my investment is, but it does become a factor because it's part of my overhead. But for some of these DJs, they're spending a couple $100 on a controller, a couple $100 on speakers, and maybe just a microphone, and they're calling themselves a DJ. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It just depends how you are approaching what they're offering. There's a very good chance they might not have insurance. They may not be getting their music legally. With the equipment that they've invested in, they don't have any backups if something breaks. So these are all factors that you should ask the DJ when you're initially interviewing them. And I actually have a big article on this, on what questions to ask a DJ from the perspective of the wedding DJ. So I'm going to link that article below. So definitely make sure you check that out. But again, more importantly, is this DJ running their business in such a way that represents the type of quality and value that you're looking for? Another thing to touch on is reliability. And again, for the cheap DJ, you almost have to wonder if they're going to show up. And the reason I say this is because I know for myself and many other DJs, we get lots of calls, sometimes the day of, the week of, the month before, saying that they're a DJ, they're missing in action, they decided to drop me, and am I available? And unfortunately, I usually book out 12, 18 months in advance typically. So a lot of times I can't service those dates, and it's unfortunate. But this is typically what you can run into when you get in the lower rungs of pricing. If you're not getting a contract, and if they potentially won't honor that contract, you may be left holding the bag and being stressed out on your most important day of your life. So when you're interviewing through this entire process, check out the reviews, see if there's any telltale signs that should make you back away before going with that less expensive DJ. Now, I want to talk a little bit more on the topic of value versus pricing. And first off, please check out my What a Wedding DJ Does article. I've really kind of thrown into some detail of what my particular process is to really summarize what that says and how this all ultimately translates. The DJ plays a lot of roles, from being essentially a coordinator of the night, definitely entertainment coordinator for no doubt, but also coordinating between all the vendors. They're setting the ebb and flow of the night. If there's no good communication between the photographer, the videographer, catering staff, that can really set things completely askew. So, first off, you want that wedding DJ to know what the hell that they're doing. They want to know that wedding DJ knows, when a photographer has to go, grab the couple for some shots, that they're not playing their most important song that they were expecting for the night. And there's just a lot of mechanics that goes on, and with a quality wedding DJ, that that's going to go off without a flaw. Now, I've been fortunate enough. I come from an IT background by trade, and I've built backup and disaster recovery solutions for the FBI, Department of Justice, small mom and pop shops, and I've been able to design those solutions into my DJ setup. And so I've been very fortunate in that case, and I know some other DJs have done the same. So make sure, again, when you're asking questions, ask that DJ, how do they work under pressure? What happens if something has to change in the timeline because dinner service is late, or somebody bumps into your laptop and it falls on the floor. What's your solution for that? What happens if the power goes out? Throw a couple questions at them, see how they handle under pressure, because in the end you want to make sure that they can kind of bob and weave and do everything that's necessary to make sure that the night goes with minimal to no interruption. So what's the bottom line in all this? Well, first off, if you're watching this video and you just got engaged, congratulations. Guess what? Now's the time to start researching. It is very typical for me to book 12 to 18 months out. In some cases, 2 years. I definitely have a few clients each year that will book me about 2 years or a little bit more out. As you start to research, you may find that the DJs that you initially think might be a great fit, they might be booked out already. So the sooner the better as you start to research and try to find somebody. And when you're doing all this investigating, make sure you set a realistic budget. There's been many times where I've seen people spend more on flowers than entertainment. And while flowers are beautiful, don't get me wrong, and they kind of set a nice, elegant tone for the ambiance of the room, so does a DJ. And they've had a number of surveys over the years, and more than 3/4 of all couples say that the wedding DJ was the most important factor in their night. So, think of those seat coverings. Do you really need those if you're starting to stretch your budget a little bit more and trying to find those extra dollars to find a good quality DJ? But in the end, choose value over price. Choose experience over that bottom line. Well, there's a video, and I hope you liked it. And if so, hit that thumbs up, click subscribe, ding that notification bell. And if you liked videos like this, I encourage you to check out more of my videos on this channel.